checks to be performed by those firearms sellers. But he acknowledged it's far short of what Congress could do. Congress could close the gun show loophole altogether. Congress could do other things to make sure that people who are under red flag laws would not get firearms. And yet this Congress and previous Congresses have declined to do it. What we expect to hear from the president is the usual, the heartfelt, anguished expression of sorrow and sympathy over this shooting, and frustration calling on Congress to do more to keep the country's schools and streets safer.
Speaking of doing more, Pierre Thomas, it's not just about access to guns. How did this 28-year-old woman get access to 2 assault rifles and a handgun? It is a conversation about guns, but also behavioral health. Were there signs? What did others know about this 28-year-old woman? Were there warning signs? There is so much to investigate here, not only into the background of this 28-year-old woman, but also how she got access to these weapons.
Well, Kira, the FBI and ATF are on scene to assist the local police, and there will be a heavy focus on who she is, how she got access to the weapons. And I can tell you, given the frequency of mass shootings, so far 128 this year, that's defined as 4 or more people shot and or killed in a single incident, not including the shooter, compared to 112 last year. These are now becoming commonplace, and law enforcement officials have been, pounding the drum saying, look, people, if you see something, say something. And one of the things we found in so many of these cases, and the FBI and Secret Service and other federal agencies have studied many of these incidents, is that in many cases there were warning signs missed, there were behaviors missed, and the key is how can you connect those disturbing behaviors with the moment when those people somehow get access to weapons, Kira?
And Brad, I'm just thinking about the safety of our schools. As a mom, I have watched my kids, the small school that they attend, and how they have changed security because of these mass shootings. Apparently, the Covenant School also had good security. We're not quite sure how she was able to enter that side door, but how do you know that your school is safe enough? Do you ever know if your school is safe enough?
I think the short answer is no. Should you take all the safeguards you can that are reasonable? Of course you should. Locked doors, maybe metal detectors, although there's some question about their effectiveness in stopping shooters. And you make it a little harder to get into the school, but it's a difficult thing to do, Kara. I mean, think about all the ways you could get into this school, maybe through the church. Maybe through the rectory. There's all sorts of ways you can get into the school. But to your question, we need to do all those things. We need to train the kids, like these kids apparently were trained, what to do during a mass shooting. But until two things. Until we figure out a way to create systems within local government that are better
Brad, we're going to take it to the podium now, Brad. The President of the United States speaking now.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? Are your kids, all 4 of them? Well, stand up, guys. Well, I want you to know, like you, I had 2 brothers, 3 in our family, 3 brothers, and 1 sister. My sister is smarter than all of us. Not a joke. She used to be 3 years younger than me. Now she's 23 years younger than me. Yeah. She managed every one of my campaigns for office, even back when I was in high school. We went to the same university 2 years apart. She graduated with honors. I graduated. And we had a simple rule in the family. Listen to Val. My sister Valerie is incredible. So guys, be nice to your sister. You're going to need her. You're going to need her. I promise. It's the same lineup. You're the oldest. Who's number 2? Number 2? Who's number 3? You twins? Are you guys twins? Okay. All right. This how it was in our outfit. Well, I'm so glad to see you all. Thanks for coming with Mom, okay? You got to take care of your mom. Dads are much harder to raise, but, you know. Before I began to speak, the reason I spent a little time in the kids, I just want to speak very briefly about the school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, Ben and I have been doing this our whole careers, it seems. And it's just, it's sick. You know, we're still gathering the facts of what happened and why. And we do know that as of now, there are a number of people who are did not make it, including children. It's heartbreaking, a family's worst nightmare. And I want to commend the police who responded incredibly swiftly, within minutes, to end the danger. We're monitoring the situation really closely, Ben, as you know. And we have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart, ripping the soul of this nation, ripping at the very soul of the nation. And we have to do more to protect our schools so they aren't turned into prisons. You know, the shooter in this situation reportedly had 2 assault weapons and a pistol, 2 AK-47. So I call on Congress again to pass my assault weapons ban. It's about time that we begin to make some more progress, but there's more to learn. But I just wanted to send my concern and hearts out to so many parents out there. I've been to so many of these sites, as Ben knows, by virtually every one. And one of the things you folks should, I know you do know, but you should focus on, you know, just like when in the military, when my son was in Iraq for a year, other places, there's so many members of the military coming back with post-traumatic stress after witnessing the violence and participating in it. Well, these children, these teachers, they should be focusing on their mental health as well. And so I'm grateful anyway. Sorry to start off that way, but I couldn't begin without acknowledging what happened. And now I'm grateful that all of you are joining us here today. Natalie, thank you.
And that was the President of the United States addressing the school shooting at Nashville that we have witnessed today. 7 people dead, 3 children, 3 faculty members, including the shooter herself, a 28-year-old woman. Senior national correspondent Terry Moran, the President, once again, calling on Congress and drawing attention to his assault weapons ban. But Terry, it's so much more, clearly, as we continue to witness mass shooting after mass shooting and how it's affecting not just the politics in this country, but our families every single day when we wake up and send our kids off to school.
There's no question that families around the country, my own kids at a school that I can't walk into if I want to bring the lunch to them that they forgot or whatever like that. That is very common these days. The president said he didn't want to see schools turned into prisons, but the lockdown, the security measures around schools are tightening, you know, all across this country. And as for the assault weapons ban, that's DOA in the Republican-held House of Representatives. Republican made that clear. The House Democrats, when they controlled the House of Representatives before the midterm elections, they did pass an assault weapons ban. It got to the Senate, where it died.
David Roush.
Terry, we now go to Metro Nashville Police holding another briefing.
Nashville Fire Director Chief William Swan. Again, this is the second briefing. There will be other briefings to be held here in the same spot later this afternoon. We'll continue to brief throughout the rest of the day. Chief Drake.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you all for being here on this very unfortunate situation. My heart and prayers go out to the families of the 6 people who were tragically injured. What I know at this point is at 10:13 today, officers responded to a shots fired call to Covenant School. It's a church school. Officers immediately responded. A team of 5 immediately went in the school, went to where gunshots were being heard, and engaged the suspect. We have identified the suspect right now, tentatively a 28-year-old female white. We know the address of that person as well, and so we have some ongoing investigations as to that. We have 3 adult victims, and we have 3 children who have been identified, and their families have been contacted. Right now, I will refrain from saying the ages, other than to say I was literally moved to tears to see this and the kids as they were being ushered out of the building. I want to say thanks to all of our partners, to the FBI, to the ATF, and other federal partners, to the THP, Tennessee Highway Patrol, the TBI, the district attorney, and to the fire department, who all came together and seamlessly addressed this situation as quickly as possible. I've already gotten a request from the national media about a great response. We're still assessing that as well. But what I can say, and what I've said before, is that whenever I hope that we would never have this situation, that if we ever did, we would not wait. We would immediately go in and we would immediately engage the person perpetrating this horrible crime. And so that's all I can say. Right now we have David Rouse, director of the TBI, who will come after me to address his portion. And then we have others that will say something as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You were just listening to Metro National Police Chief John Drake there, confirming what we do know, and that is 7 people are now dead. That includes the shooter, a 28-year-old woman at the Covenant School there in Nashville, Tennessee. It happened at 10:13 Nashville time. But within 14 minutes, local units on patrol responded to that school. 5 of those officers making it to the 2nd floor where they heard gunshots, engaged that shooter, took that shooter down, and the rest of those kids were able to get out of that school alive. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. Pierre, a lot more to investigate. Clearly, they now know the address of that 28-year-old woman. Clearly, all of us want to know more about her.
Well, the search will be to look at her phones, look at any computers, talk to family, friends, anyone who can give a sense of her recent history. Did something happen? Was she somehow connected to the school and the church? And again, I will hearken back to something that the chief just said. He's talking about the notion that they got to the school, immediately responded, did not wait. Uvalde, which is in the back of everyone's mind, where all those young people lost their lives when police just sat around there for many minutes while the shooter continued to kill. That was abnormal. For years, law enforcement have known and been training and telling school officials that they would come in and respond immediately to engage the shooter, to run toward gunfire. That appears to be what happened in this case, and it probably saved a lot of lives.
Brad Garrett, you're former FBI. You actually worked in the FBI field office there in Nashville, Tennessee. You know this school, a Christian school, 209 students, 40 to 50 faculty member on a regular day, a faithful community. I had a chance to talk to a young man whose mom worked at that school for 20 years, saying it was pretty remarkable what happened there with regard to even fellow officers praying with members of this community. It could have been so much worse. 3 children killed, 3 faculty killed, but within 14 minutes, they got more than 100 other kids out of that school. It's pretty remarkable when you think about that compared to what we saw at Uvalde?
Oh, there is no doubt. And that is where we have gotten in the last 20 to 30 years, is training the police to immediately go enter a school, enter a factory, enter wherever there's a mass shooting going on, quickly pick up whatever intel there might be, what the shooter looks like, type of weapons, so forth and so on, and they go in. It's very little information typically when you go in, Kara, but you follow the gunshots, and they did. It took them to the second floor, and they engaged the shooter. And these types of shooters tend to go and kill as many people as they can. And another 2 minutes could have been another 15 kids. It's unbelievable with even a semi-automatic assault weapon like an AR-15 or an AK-47. You can fire off so many rounds in just a few seconds. And if you have folks in an enclosed classroom, I mean, sadly, you know the outcome.
And clearly this is, Brad, going to have schools across the country once again reevaluating the security at school and also the training that they need to do. We are living in a totally different world right now.
There is no doubt. And I don't like saying this, but it's not going to get any better.
Pierre, Brad, thank you so much. We, of course, will continue to follow this developing story throughout the day. Our coverage continues now on ABC News Live. I'm Kira Phillips.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Continuous glucose monitor provides glucose readings and alerts you in real time to potential lows and harmful spikes without painful finger sticks. It's easy.
Is to give support in any area that's asked for on the scene. So again, we thank you, and from this point forward, we'll just continue on with our mission and try to bring some type of closure and resolution. Thank you.
I anticipate there will be another briefing at or before 4 o'clock. We will entertain 2 or 3 questions at this moment before these gentlemen have to go back to the scene to continue their work.
Chief, you identified, did you identify the shooter in this case yet?
Yes, we have identified the suspect. It's a 28-year-old female white, actually a Nashvilleian, or lives in the Nashville area. We are having an ongoing investigation as it pertains to her at this time.
Located her place of where she lived? You have officers there?
We have.
Was she wearing body armor?
Was she wearing body armor? I can't say that far into the investigation. I don't remember seeing it, but I can't say for certain if she had body armor on or not.
Did she have any connection to the church?
From my initial findings is that at one point she was a student at that school, but unsure what.
Is this being examined at this point?
The investigations are still ongoing at this point. Our federal partners, our state partners, we're all looking into that to see exactly. This is still fluid at the time, but we're looking at everything.
Did anybody pull the fire alarm? You know?
Don't remember a fire alarm going off. I was told there were kids that evacuated into a wood line. They had the presence of mind to do that and to go to a fire hall. Once we arrived on scene, we had everyone moved to First Baptist Church, Woodmont, and that way we could get parents and children reunited, and then ultimately make the notification on the 3 kids.
Do we know yet if the side door she entered in was locked?
There was a door that was entered. All doors were locked to our understanding, and how exactly she got in at this point is still under investigation. There is a vehicle that was nearby that gave us clues as into who she was, and but as stated, that investigation is still ongoing.
Did the school have school shooter protocol?
They did have protocol. To my understanding, we had, unfortunately, 3 kids that were tragically hurt. It could have been far, far worse.
Okay, folks, we'll be back again before 4 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.
I'm going to hang up. Well.
Okay, we're got it.